Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Hakim from Technology Innovation Institute. I'm happy to be here to just share some thoughts of what we are looking at and how we are looking into this regulation aspect. I think when I came this morning, I was thinking that I needed to fight a group of people who are against AI. So again, I'm talking, and my talk may be biased a little bit because we are spending all our time into building this AI. So we are building the Falcon language model and the Noor language models. So we are actually having AI for breakfast, lunch, and dinner all the time, right? So for us, when we talk about regulation, the first thing that comes to mind to those who are building this AI is that this regulation is, first of all, a sort of slower, and it's looking at slowing down the AI, right? So we always have these issues, and I think we have examples around the world that are pushing towards that. So I thought I would come actually to fight something similar to that, but actually it was completely different. So I'm very happy to hear what I was hearing since this morning, because we're looking actually at the end of the day into how to regulate the usage of AI. And I'm taking you directly to my conclusion, because this is actually my conclusion at the end of the day. We need to focus on how to regulate the usage of AI and not necessarily the AI itself or the innovation in AI. So I wanted to go first through this slide to just explain that this regulation aspect has always been there. So we have a lot of focus these last, I would say, couple of years on how to regulate AI because of the power that we sort of see in these new models that are coming out. But regulation was there since the beginning of technology, I would say. So when we go back to the 40s, and I think everybody is familiar with the Nuremberg Code, for example, we had technology that was actually tested on human beings, and there was a need for regulating this technology and the way we use this technology. Then came the 2000, so I'm just putting a sort of a fast forward here. 2000 with the internet, so we needed actually to identify the electronic transaction, and we got into the regulation of the digital identity. Then we moved into 2010, so we had social networks that were coming out. Many people were using the data, personal data, so on and so forth. This is where we got, for example, the GDPR. It was motivated mainly in Europe by the use of social networks. And then we had different frameworks that came out in 2020, for example, in China, who proposed actually much stronger regulation than GDPR that was in Europe. And nowadays we are talking on how to make this AI safe. We see a lot of safety institute, AI safety institute that came out all over the world and that are trying to regulate this AI. Is regulation that important for AI? We believe, and I think many of the researchers believe, that indeed it's very important. So first, we believe that regulating will prevent generating harmful actions or harmful results. That's the first thing. We need this accountability. I was hearing this since the morning, and that's very important indeed. We need some accountability. We need processes where we can understand and assign the accountability that is either done by AI or generated by AI. Trust and transparency, that's an important point. All the AI safety people or communities will talk about the trust and transparency. And then you have an issue of international competitiveness. The trust will generate competitiveness for those who are able to regulate properly and on time. The issue is that it's extremely difficult to regulate an rapidly evolving domain. So AI is evolving, and every week we see new things that are coming into the place. And the regulation that we may put today, next week, it may be, let's say, not valid anymore. So we have the rapid development. How do we define the harm? What is harmful at the end of the day? And then something that is important, at least from an R&D perspective, is the balancing between the innovation and the control. And that's what I started the talk with. And then we need the global coordination. Nowadays, we see regulations that are coming from different countries, but we do not have a body actually that is, let's say, coordinating all these efforts to apply or to set up a regulation or a governance framework that would work for different cultures, different situations, different business models, so on and so forth. So there is still a lot of work, and we need to think on how to balance this regulation and the innovation at the end of the day. We have different initiatives. I think these are the main known ones. So we have the European initiative, where basically the EU is trying to centralize and to put the control between the hands of a few institutions. It goes beyond like just the governance of this AI, but it also imposes sort of sanctions on the people, the entities that use AI in different way than the regulated one. You have the US approach that is, I would say, more open because it tries actually to balance between the innovation and the use of the AI, the business use. And we have the Chinese approach that is more into, I would say, the homeland security aspects. Everything is related to the security and how the data could be used, how the AI could be used, and is it capable of harming the security of the homeland security or not. And then you have different initiatives which are in industry, self-regulation, I would say. We see a lot of creators of the LLMs nowadays trying to put in place charts that are actually describing the way the AI, their model should be used, and when they take responsibility of what they use. Again, the lack here of sort of a governing structure that would coordinate the different initiatives is an important aspect. Where the regulation could focus, in our opinion, so the first one is the bias and fairness. I think many speakers before spoke about this, but again, on the technical side, this is not a trivial question. So there is still a need to work a lot on how to teach an algorithm to be fair, right? So the issue is that these algorithms are extremely big, are extremely complex. So controlling one aspect may lead everyone or anyone to lose on another aspect. So we start relying more onto systems that are built on top of these algorithms to try actually to minimize this bias and lack of fairness at the end of the day. Privacy and data usage. So we need indeed to look into the privacy of the data and to make sure that we keep the private data as private as we can. So we look nowadays, for example, most of the models are built on public data, right? So when we get into the fine-tuning, this is where the issues start for those who are familiar with this process. This is where the issues start, right? So you have people who may use private data and then put those models in a public sort of domain. The autonomous systems, I think this is what is coming. So these artificial intelligence will be soon used to humanoids, robots, autonomous drones, for example, these kind of things. I think the regulation should focus on that. Transparency and explainability. Explainability is a big issue. I think we start having progress in this domain. We are capable of tracking back the logic that the models have followed to provide a specific conclusion. We still have a lot of work to be done there, but I think it is mature enough to start thinking about the regulation. Then you have the deepfake and misinformation that can be generated from this. The tools for regulations, you have many. I think the algorithmic audits is one important aspect that the regulator should pay attention to. Licensing, sandbox, these are all tools that will allow actually the people or the regulator to test the compliance of these models or this AI to specific rules and specific laws that are in place. I will be just going quickly here. So AI for regulation. So we have seen that we have spoken about the regulation of AI, but then there is also the AI for regulation. And here the message, again, yes, we can get a lot of help, a lot of support from the AI that we are having nowadays. But I believe that there is still a lot of work, and we need to be careful on how to use this AI in the regulation domain, right? So the Probably the laws will be drafted much faster. Probably we are getting into less biased algorithms, models. We can explain things, but we believe that applying directly this AI to the legal domain needs more care than any other domain, I believe. The reason is that, again, the AI is at the end of the day an algorithm. It's a machine. It's not a human, right? It doesn't understand the feelings. It doesn't understand let's say, the personal issues. It doesn't have any of this. So there is a need actually to keep, again, more than ever, the human in the loop to make sure that the decisions are taken in the right way, and then especially that the human aspect is actually taken into consideration. So just to finish on quick notes here. So AI is still to grow. So we still have a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of patterns, a lot of phenomena to understand in the AI side. So we have models nowadays that are very impressive, I agree, but we didn't reach a maturity where we should actually add a burden of regulation directly on the innovation and the research. So we need to distinguish between regulating something and then allowing also other people to continue the adventure and to explore more powerful contributions and aspects. So we shouldn't rush to the regulation. Also, we have a lot of regulations in place that control, for example, the data, that are in security, that are in banking, that are in the internet, so on and so forth. I think we need to look into how we could adapt these regulations to the field of the AI before even we get into the regulation. I think also the education and awareness are extremely important. So nowadays, everybody is actually very happy, very excited to use these AI tools, but we do not necessarily understand everything that is hiding behind the AI. Having a good education, integrating eventually the AI within the education system is an extremely good aspect. We have seen in the UAE these initiatives where AI is already included and embedded in the education system. So I think, and we believe in that, the education and the awareness of the people to use, to understand, and to exploit this AI instead of having the opposite thing where AI will exploit the people will be an interesting and an important point. And then again, we need to regulate the usage and not the building of this AI, hopefully. Thank you very much.